Do you ever find when you're going on a road trip and at the end of it, someone has paid way more than the other person? Well, I have a fix for you, and that's Tricount. Hi, my name is Matthew and welcome to my channel. I make videos about tech and process improvement. If that's something you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell if you want to be notified every time I make a video. Okay, so Tricount. This thing really saved my life. When I was younger, I used to make Excel spreadsheets about budgeting and making sure I would track everyone's expenses and trying to pay everyone back. But it got really confusing and I would be paying like multiple people different amounts of money and it just really confused everyone. It confused me and it took me like 8 hours at a Starbucks trying to figure out how to make this Excel spreadsheet because I didn't know anything about Excel. all the skills that I know now would be so helpful. Then my brother showed me Tricount and it really changed how I viewed road trips and actually budgeting them and making sure everyone's paying the proper amount that they're supposed to pay. So we'll get into it. I'll show you my app and how I use it. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my Tricount app here and show you how useful it is. So I'm gonna let you see some of my old trips and then I'm gonna make a new trip to show you how to use Tricount properly and how to make sure you're staying on budget and making sure everyone's paying the proper amounts. When you open the app, it's really simple. You see all of your trips. The nice thing about Tricount is how simple it is. They're not trying to do anything fancy. They're making sure that you put in your expenses and it divides it properly between who paid for that expense. Okay, so starting, we're gonna go into my trip called Duluth 2019. And you can see that we have a ton of different expenses here. Everything is detailed in there, and then you can also see who's it paid by. So yeah, John's paid for some stuff, Ian's paid for some stuff. After looking at all that, you can see your total expenses on the bottom right, and then on the left, you can see your total, how much your trip costs. So yeah, we'll get into how nice this is, but we'll go into this Edmonton trip. You can see all of our expenses, who's paid what. We're off 80 cents here, so Jaden owes me some money. You can see how simple it is. Everyone has their expenses in there, and then all you have to do is make sure that everyone pays each other back. So we're gonna start a new trip. I'll call this a new Tricount. I'm gonna call this a test trip. And then you can change the currency to what you want. So you got Canadian, US, Euro, and then a bunch of others. It's really handy because you can make sure that every single entry you have, it can either be it can be in Canadian currency, it can be in US currency, and depending on what your trip's based on, it can all revert back to that one currency. This currency, I'm gonna do Canadian. So it's nice then at the bottom, you can add your participants. So you can add myself, and then I'm gonna add a participant. You can add a fake person, or you can add on contacts. Contacts is nice because you make sure you have their information, their cell phone number or their email, and then they're gonna be notified of how much money they owe and just be in the loop of the Tricount and the expenses that are happening. So yeah, you can share it with other people so they know how much they owe, or you can just do it yourself and then tell everyone how much money they owe you or the other person at the end of the trip. So we're gonna get started. So it's pretty simple. You got expenses and balances, and on the bottom you have my total and total expenses. So let's say we got some gas and the amount is 50 bucks Canadian. It's gonna tell us everything that we need to know. And then the really nice thing is you can say who's this expense for. So for gas, everyone's paid for gas and we're just gonna divide that evenly. So we're gonna press check. And then if you wanna add something like coffee and 12 bucks and say, I paid for this and I paid for just Sarah and I, but we're on the same Tricount with the other people. What's really nice is you can divide it. Say we both bought the same drink, so we can just divide that in two. So I just highlighted Matthew and Sarah. So that's super handy. But if you want to get even more technical and say someone bought a fancier drink, someone bought a cheaper drink, coffee and a Frappuccino maybe, we go into advanced and you can see how much each person paid. So say I bought like a $3.50 thing at Starbucks, and then it's gonna do the difference onto Sarah. So that's really handy. You can make sure that everyone's paying the proper amount and it's all still on one Tricount. We'll do an activity, we'll go to amusement park. Amusement park, the amount was, let's do $800 for everyone. People are a little skeptical and they wanna make sure that they're actually paying the proper amount. You can add photos. I'll just take a picture and you can take a photo of your receipt. So I'll take a picture of my desk and then we got that photo in there. And so when people look at the amusement park price, they can go in there and make sure that the amount's proper. And this one, we're just gonna divide it by 4. And then the last cool thing about this is say you went out for food, you paid 50 bucks, you have now categories. So you have accommodations, entertainment, groceries, healthcare, insurance, List goes on, and then you can add custom categories, super handy. So this one is groceries, we can add that, and then we can check it off, that's for groceries. Then I guess there would be gas, anything else, you have a little icon, they're really easy to know instead of looking at the description. Okay, so say we're done our trip, we've put all of our expenses in, we can go to our balances now and we can see how much each person has paid. So currently, I'm owed $683 on this just fake trip. And everyone else owes me different amounts. So you remember how Sarah bought a coffee? So she owes me 233 bucks. Ted and Tom owe me only 225 bucks. The nice thing about this is that Tricount makes sure that you're paying the most efficient way possible. So you're not paying Sarah, Tom, Ted multiple times for how much they've paid for the trip. You only have to pay one person one amount because Tricount automatically makes it the most efficient way possible. So hopefully at the end, only one person has to pay two people. And that's something that's really handy, especially with e-transferring people, and it just gets really confusing. So yeah, at the end we can see that Sarah owes me 233 bucks, Ted owes me 225, and Tom owes me 225. So you can get paid on PayPal, or you can also get paid just normally like in cash or e-transfer, really simple, but you wanna make sure that everything is just balanced up at the end of the trip. So you can go into more options and you can say mark as paid. So I make sure that it's in reimbursement, that Sarah's paying me this amount. I can check it and we're good. So you can mark it paid, or you can invite the person to pay. This either sends them a notification or makes them pay you by PayPal or some other different application. So you can either mark it as paid, or you can invite Ted to pay. So this gives them a notification, or you can pay on a different service. I've never used that. I've just used it to make sure that all my balances are right. So usually I just say mark as paid when I got the money in my account, and then everything's done that way. Everyone is paid what they're owed, and then everyone's happy. No one's left off in the dust with a whole bunch of debt after having a crazy fun trip. So it's really nice because there's a lot of transparency. You don't have to worry about someone getting ripped off, and it's just really enjoyable because you can enjoy your trip and you don't have to get mad after the trip and have it leave on a sour note. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you found it interesting or useful. I want to help you out just like I would my brother. See you in the next video.